Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Friday. Welcome to another special edition of Talking Comics. I'm your host, Julius Freeman. First, let me just say thank you to everyone who backed the Vigilant Fury campaign. We did hit our goal. We ended up at $3,702. We have 84 backers, which is the most I've ever had in the first 6 days of the campaign, which is great. Thank you guys for those who backed it, for those who retweeted it, for those who supported and spread the word, and enjoyed or are looking forward to reading the book when we deliver it early March of next year. So again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. You can still back it. Whoop, there's my host. There's my guest. Hold on.
Reading my emails and I'm like, hey, so I'm live.
I messed up. I didn't know exactly how to do it by myself. So hey, I got my guest here, Keith Gleason from Mighty Mascots. But before we get into him, Vigilant Fury still on demand. Check it out, guys. All the original art commission stuff is gone. You can't back it, but you can still back the book. You can still get the sketch art bundle. You can still get your sketch card if you want, the behind the scenes book, digital and physical. So you still have those options. And yeah, there it is. Vigilant Fury, black and white thriller, action-packed story about a woman, Angela Perez, who goes on vacation in Florida and is kidnapped by human traffickers, and she finds herself on the container ship heading straight to her demise, and she has a choice: fight or die. And she decides to fight with Vigilant Fury. So
yeah, I love it.
Check that out. And please,
in demand
word if you've already backed it.
Yeah, I already did. So yeah.
See, there you go. See, thank you, Mr. Gleason.
Are you staying? You staying in demand for a while on the campaign?
Yeah, I am actually. I am going to stay on in demand for a while,
right until the book's made, kind of thing.
Yeah. We're gonna stick with it for as long as we can. We're still gonna be on shows. We're still gonna promote.
Good.
We're still gonna do all that stuff. So to get that number up, I kind of want to hit. To be honest with you, I kind of want to reach 10K. If I'm being honest. So hopefully we can get there.
And word of mouth.
I think it's doable. I think if I just show my face enough times, I think people will back it. So I was gonna do the big introduction for you, and I totally botched it. I apologize to those watching. So my guest is Mr. Keith Gleason. He is the writer and creator of Mighty Mascots, which is currently live on INdiegogo. He is also the organizer of Plastic City Comic Con, which was very successful.
Yeah.
He has his own website. What's the website called?
So I got a couple. I got my Reckless Sidekick website. You could go to heroenvy.com.
Heroenvy.com.
So that'll bring you to the Reckless Sidekick website. And then also plasticcitycomiccon.com.
Awesome.
Is, the second site.
And I'm curious to know.
Yeah.
How is it organizing a comic convention? I mean, that must be absolutely stressful, but at the same time, kind of, I guess, satisfying to some extent.
Yeah.
To get a bunch of people together.
Bit of both.
yeah, I would imagine.
I was gonna say it's horrible, but no, it's
it's horribly satisfying. How about that?
Exactly. I never really wanted to be a promoter, but I did it because I wasn't seeing or going to the kind of shows I wanted to go to. Like somewhere about 2014, 2015, like the Comic-Con scene was kind of taken over by celebrities and cosplay and everything, and it's like I kind of it's like kind of like it's in a lot of ways it's like for the success of the Marvel movies has caused this, because you get a lot of people that go to these shows that love the movies, but they don't necessarily love the comics that it's based on. So these conventions, and I don't blame them, they kind of cater to that, which is fine, but I wanted to do a show that was like old school, like 90s style, where it's just comics, art, that kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, I did it because I was unhappy with what shows were around me, but also I felt bad for a lot of the vendors that we vend with at shows. Like I have a lot of convention friends, and
Right.
everybody was kind of feeling it back in like 2015. It's just like what had happened to our shows, and
Tell me about it.
yeah, I mean, I
Tell me
don't know
about
if
it.
you've been to any conventions
Oh yeah,
recently,
dude.
but
I mean, when I turned 18 and I was able to, go places and not be held down by curfews or you have to be home by a certain time or you can't
right.
go there or whatever. I went to San Diego Comic-Con first chance I got. And since I live in Southern California, it was just a no-brainer to
Yeah.
go to San Diego Comic-Con and actually experience it for the first time back in 2000 back in
Oh, okay.
2000.
Oh, wow.
That was my first year, and I fell in love with it. It was great walking in there. I mean, these were the days long before the
Hollywood took it
instant
over.
sellouts. You
Yeah.
just literally walk up to the box office, get your ticket, and walk
Yeah,
into
and
the floor.
I know. Now
Those
you
were the
gotta be
days.
right. Now you gotta wait in a line that's like a
Yeah,
mile
yeah.
long.
It's terrible. But back in the day, I'm not coming in hot, am I?
What do you mean? Like I can hear you fine.
Microphone. Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you pretty good.
Okay. Um, yeah, it was great being able to go to the artist alley, talk to artists. It was great going to the tables like the DC Marvel section,
Yeah.
and actually be able to talk with creators and not be pushed out because there
Yeah.
were no long lines at the time. There were no Hollywood hadn't been there yet.
Yeah.
They haven't, they were not involved at all. Maybe a minuscule,
Yeah.
but it was mainly for comic book lovers.
I love that. Yeah.
which was perfect for me. I was like, dude, I belong here. This
Yeah,
is my
yeah.
people, like, yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
And I got to talk to Brian Ozarello. I got to talk to Tim Sale those first few years because I went to San Diego Comic-Con every year since 2000 up until I think 2000. I want to say 5 or 6.
Okay. That's when things started changing.
That's when I think
I noticed
around
the
that
big
time.
shift around 2012 when the Avengers movie came out, the first one.
Yeah,
And it was like that movie made like how many millions, and people. It was like the most famous thing,
yeah. Last time I
happening
went
that
there,
year.
it was I hate to say it, but it was unbearable.
Oh yeah, no,
Because
I totally get it.
because it was like it was a lot of people, which was great. I was like, great, wow, this is fantastic. But you quickly realized that most of those people there, and no, this is not a sour grapes or any of that, for the people who were there. But I knew most of the people here were not fans of the comics.
Yeah.
They weren't there for the comic books. They
yeah,
were there.
and I say the same thing. It's like there's all kinds of shows now, so it's like those have their place, and
Yeah.
it's like I'm not a fan of them, so I don't go to them generally. But I look for the one day shows. I look for the shows that are comic centric.
Yes. Yes.
There's a couple of shows that are bigger in scope, like I wouldn't say San Diego, but like
WonderCon.
like a fanboy, yeah, maybe fanboy expo kind of level that are a lot of comics. Like the one in our area, Terrificon, is like that. So you just gotta hunt. It's like trying to find a good indie comic. You just gotta find a good show.
Right. Yeah. No. So, that I found that in WonderCon when WonderCon came to Anaheim from San Francisco, because I know they held it in San Francisco every year. I went because I was like, well, great. This is like the next best thing from San Diego Comic-Con. And it's a lot more comic book centric. And I volunteered for 2 years in a row. I volunteered at WonderCon.
Oh, did you?
For 2 years.
Okay.
It was great. It was fantastic. Yeah. It was fun. I loved talking with the people who I worked with, or I shouldn't say work with. I volunteered.
Yeah.
I volunteered with. They were very nice. Very. They were a little bit. They didn't know what to do with me, to be honest with you, the first year. Because I don't know.
Like,
maybe I'm too normal. I'm not sure exactly because everyone volunteering there had they have a look, right? A comic book enthusiast has a look.
Yeah.
And so I was like this, the way I am right now, regular hair,
you don't look
regular
like the
clothes,
stereotype, right? Is that what? So is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I was like, is this guy like, was he forced to be here?
Yeah. You lose a bet or something.
Yeah, but I loved it. It was great. Those were great years.
That's one thing I never did was volunteer for a show. Like I know, like our show we have volunteers, but they tend to be just friends of me and my wife that come and help us out.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't know what's going to happen next year because we're in the, I think we've reached the limits of where we were doing the show. It was like at a hockey rink, and it's like there's multiple problems with the venue. So it's like this year we felt it more than previous years, and so right now I'm like in flux. So I don't know. I don't have a date for next year. I don't have a venue for next year. So we'll see. I'm going to look at a few things in the next couple of weeks, but if I have to take a year off, I'd be fine with that too, So
right, yeah, I would imagine it's stressful.
It is a little bit, organize. But my background as far as like my day job, I do a lot of like logistics. I do a lot of customer service stuff.
Okay.
So I think a lot of that really helped me organize the show. A lot of it is just that logistics, making sure you put a map together and then know how many spaces you have, and then just keep track of that kind of stuff, and then build the map floor, maybe build a nice plan for the floor and things like that. And we keep it real simple, so we're not doing like panels, we're not doing cosplay contests, we're not doing any of that other stuff that could be a huge PIA, so
maybe down the line, maybe as it grows, you could add those things,
like if we find a new venue, it might have like a good area to do panels, and then we can get that going. So I don't know, we'll see where it heads. But my main thing is I want to keep it one day, and I also want to keep it comic centric, because that's why I wanted to do the show to begin with, is make a love of comics again, so
yeah, absolutely. And the pictures that I saw that people posted, I think Kayla posted a lot of them. Peter posted a few, and it was great to see like a glimpse of the past, because that's I remember those days where you meet up with your friends and you all hang out.
It's great.
You all talk comics, you talk shop. Yeah, you shared, what are you working on? Show me what you're working on.
Yeah, that's great.
It's great. I love that.
That's what I love about cons. I'm going to one tomorrow, actually.
Oh, nice.
I'm setting up one. It's one called Troy City Comic Con, new one, but it's a one-day show, and they're doing free admission with a $3 donation suggestion. So
nice.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting. Like a free admission is great, but people.
Yeah, no, I would definitely give them $3. I'm like,
right.
That's
$3
great.
is nothing for a show, So
no way.
Hopefully it's good. Hopefully they get the word out. That's the only thing I'm worried about. That's the other thing you got to worry about, is promoting the actual show.
Right. Yeah.
So kind of like this, doing the rounds.
Speaking of doing the rounds. Let's talk about a little bit of your backstory here, your origin tale of sorts.
Okay.
What was the spark that led to you wanting to write for comics?
Well, I started like when I was a little kid, like as far back as I can remember, I knew like I could draw, and I would copy a lot of things. Like Snoopy and Garfield and all that, and like knew even at that young age I wanted to do something cartooning. I wanted to I think for the longest time I wanted to be a cartoonist, so that's where it kind of started. I wanted to write and draw my own comic strips, like Peanuts or Garfield or Far Side, one of those. I had all those books when I was a kid, and I would sit there and I would draw Snoopy, and I would draw my own jokes, and make my own jokes for it. And I think somewhere in junior high, when I discovered comics, like my gateway in was like the TV tie-in stuff, like Transformers. I think my first book was like the Further Adventures of Indiana Jones from Marvel Comics. And,
nice.
So I had never really discovered a comic book until later in life, and then once I discovered that, then I went into superhero stuff like Spider-Man and all that stuff, and rest was history. But that's when I think I started thinking about doing comic books, like my art was I still doodle and stuff, and I'm okay at it. I'm not like amazing, but like my stuff is very cartoony, so I know my strengths. And I know like my stuff would not look good as superhero art. So that's why like when I started doing like superhero comics, I would hire the artist out and then just put myself into the writer's seat and start, doing things that way. But yeah, I'm not really a writer. Like I never took classes for it. I've never written a novel. Like I had a couple creative writing classes, but nothing crazy. A lot of my learning was from like reading comics and reading, watching movies and learning. You watch a movie and you see how they put like the 3-act structure together, and you
right.
kind of see that, and then you learn how they did it. You kind of break it down in your head, or even with comics, as I'm reading a comic, it's like, oh, this is cool how they did this, and you kind of soak that in, kind of like the Quentin Tarantino school of learning,
Yeah, you learn as you go, right?
I mean, didn't he just start making movies he just started watching movies and
he was a video store clerk
right,
for a lot of
and
years.
That's all he did, right? That was
and that's
his
all
education.
He just consumed a bunch of movies, and then eventually he just started writing, and then by the time he was like in his late 30s, he was like this wonderkind of screenwriter,
right?
So it was like one of those things where when you love something, you find a way to do it.
Definitely,
and that's great, and I think that's the story of all comic book creators from the past and now. Who they grew up reading the books, they love the I guess I don't want to say the ideas, but well, I guess the stories essentially of like how out there. That's why I love the comic books, because they were out there. They were outside the constrained box of films and TV.
Right, you could do anything.
Like I mean, Spider-Man, Superman. I mean, like that's amazing. Like that was amazing stuff for me as a kid.
Yeah,
and I think it's safe to say that it still lives on today. But unfortunately, we have this massive like umbrella of Hollywood that kind of did away with that, and that was I think my biggest gripe. To go off the off the topic for a minute or for a second. It's my biggest gripe with Hollywood entering our world was that they never gave our world credit. Not one of the actors in the Avengers movies, Iron Man, whatever, any Marvel or DC movies, never ever talked about the comic books. Never ever spoke about, like, even Kevin Feige or the people who are running the MCU or the S studio. Never once when they attended a con saying, "Hey guys, don't forget to support your local comic book shops."
Right. Yeah.
Because this is where it came from. Without
this
these
is where
books,
the magic comes from.
Without these books, they wouldn't be this. And that was my biggest gripe about that.
Yeah, I hear you. I think that's definitely very true. Especially with those guys.
That's why I hate Hollywood.
I mean, like, instead of having like the end credit scenes from Marvel, put like an ad to go to your comic store.
Right?
Dude,
it's not that hard.
It's
not that hard.
It's not at all.
A whole like they introduced these characters to a whole new generation of kids.
Yeah.
And all they could have done was like, "Hey kids, you like this? You like these characters?
Yeah, right.
you could find them at your comic shop.
Yeah.
Check it out." And
I don't get it.
I don't know.
So many people have said too, and I think Johnny said this, or he's like, they should have a kiosk at the comic or at the movie,
something,
a pop-up kiosk or something, sell comics there, or especially if it's a movie that's got a comic,
I think what it is, it's an ego thing. I think we don't want to give credit where credit is due. We want to give ourselves the credit for making the movie. Yeah. Even though it's like, well, dude, without the book, you wouldn't have made the movie. So
right.
So why can't you just at least acknowledge? They always have to
put their own spin on it.
Yeah,
all that kind of stuff. And then like, I think there's still a little bit of pretension there too, like when they call it a graphic novel instead of like a comic book. Yeah, it's like that's always the safe way to say that this is an adult thing, not a kid's thing.
Yeah, so exactly.
That always drove me nuts in the mid 2000s. It just was always like this. like your pinky up as you talk about like graphic novels,
Right.
You know?
Right, dude. Yeah,
It's just
exactly.
like, dude, it's a comic book. Just say it's a
Yeah.
comic book.
Just say it's a
please.
comic book. It's okay. We're not in the late 90s anymore where it was frowned upon if you're reading a comic book.
Right?
Now it's cool. Now it's mainstream. Now it's
Yeah.
okay to
Right.
go to your
Took
comic shop
forever
and
to get
buy
there. Yeah.
and buy your comics, So why not just acknowledge it? Acknowledge us, Hollywood.
Yes.
You
Well,
bastards.
and you can see now, especially with the Marvel stuff too, that they're starting to stray away from the source materials so much that I think it's starting to hurt them. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
can you think of
I
anything
think
from Marvel in Phase 4 that anyone was like, "Yes, this is amazing"?
I
There's
mean the
been
only one that
nothing.
I know from like the non-comic book readers who I know personally, the only one that they've told me that stuck out was Moon Knight.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's the only one. That's
And
the
I
only
think
one out of
that's
all of
because you
those
had
shows.
like those the guys that made that show are pretty wild filmmakers. So like I think that maybe that's why that one
Mm,
stuck out a little bit. Yeah, no, you don't hear anybody with the excitement like people are
no.
kind of watching them now out of habit rather than really enjoying them. I think
Yeah, yeah, and I think they really messed up by not setting up the next big bad right
Yeah,
away, which they
yeah,
should have done.
yeah.
Throw the seeds out there. It's just one of those things where I don't like talking about because then I start reeling, and so I just
Right.
try to ignore it and just focus on
Yeah,
comic
yeah.
books.
Well, now it's
So
like I don't have I don't have a. I used to be like I can't miss any of them. Like it was like
right,
like an
yeah, same
issue of a
here.
comic. Now I'm like, I can skip that one. I can
Yep.
watch this one.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm finding it real easy to not watch that stuff now. So
So let's talk comics then. Let's
yeah,
stray away from the Hollywood talk and let them die at the vine.
yeah,
Let's keep our garden, lush.
lush.
So let's talk about your project.
Okay,
Give me a second. Mighty Mascots,
awesome. Yeah,
issue
yeah,
7, 8, 9. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you follow me on this channel, you know that I love comic books. And I don't make that much content regarding TV shows or comic book TV shows or movies because I feel like it's there's enough of that out there. So I try to focus on the comic books because that's what I do. That's what Keith Gleason does. That's what I would assume the people who subscribe to my channel also enjoy.
yeah.
So let's talk about Mighty Mascots. What is this book all about? I love your approach to it. I love the look.
Oh, thanks.
Is this a kids comic or is this like a PG-14? What's the age group you're targeting for this comic book?
Gotcha. Yeah, I've had many discussions about this. I always say it's all ages, but I put like when I say all ages, I mean something in the vein of like Batman the Animated Series or
Okay.
Justice League Unlimited, where it's a kid can watch it, enjoy it, but like it's also really made for adults too.
Ah, okay.
So like, cause there's like kind of a negative. I don't want to say if it's a stereotype or what. When you say all ages, I think people's minds instantly go to like Dogman or like
Yeah.
you know what I mean, or
Yeah.
like those kind
Totally.
of books, and those have a place too. But like, I find that a lot of those don't have any kind of excitement to them. So
Mm.
like when I made this comic, it to me all ages is circa 1970 1980 Batman or Spider-Man. To me those were still made for kids, but they were adult enough that they had like like the death of Gwen Stacy or for
Right.
instance, or
Right. Yeah.
so they were a little more dangerous than like a kid's cartoon, and that's sort of the tone I'm going for with Mighty Mascots. I want it to be another thing I also compare it to is like the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles by Eastman and Laird. Like, do you
Oh.
remember? Like,
You're talking about the first print run of
yes,
that
like the
book?
black and
Right.
white ones that they did.
Yeah.
Because you take like an absolutely absurd concept like Mutant Ninja Turtles, but they
Yeah.
treated it like it was a serious story, and like that's what I do with Mighty Mascots. It's like an absolute absurd comic concept, but I treat it like they are a legit superhero team. There's real stakes, there's character arcs, there's things like that. So,
Nice.
so that's why I want, when I say all ages, I want people to know that it is all ages, but it is
Right.
it
There's
really
there's some
is all
themes
ages,
there. Kind of like I'm reminded of like old Disney,
like Disney
early
afternoon
Pixar,
stuff,
where
like
it was for targeted for kids, but the material was so good, was good enough that both kids and adults can enjoy the story.
like something like the Gargoyles,
Right.
Disney afternoon stuff. Like that would be a kind of the tone I think Mighty Mascots hits.
Okay. All right.
Stuff like
Okay.
that. So it's like
Right.
kind of like if you're a fan of superhero books, it's definitely, the roots of it are definitely spawned by Saturday morning cartoons, but also Saturday morning cartoons, and then like like comics I grew up with, like Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, that kind of
Right.
stuff. So if you merge those two together, that's what Mighty Mascots is. So,
Awesome.
yeah, so
And
it's a lot of fun to do.
A lot of fun. So, okay, well, we'll talk about that in more detail. But I just want to point out that you're really close. You're 96
I'm
backers.
right
You're
on
8 days left.
I'm right on the edge.
And you're $4,602 and $400 away from meeting your goal, which is absolutely doable.
Yeah,
I hope it's
left.
doable.
Yeah,
you have plenty of time left.
It'd be weird if it just stopped right now.
I know, right? But no, I mean, given the fact that you have 96 backers, it just shows me that 96 people are digging this premise, are digging this story, and you probably have fans that you gained from issues 1 through 6. I would imagine.
Yeah, definitely. I hear from a lot of people that both they love it and their kids love it too. So like,
awesome.
It's good to hear that kids are actually reading this book, and getting something out of it. So
what is this right here?
Yeah, I added that today. That was so it's a collectible cereal box top. So do you remember like when you were a kid, they would have you like rip off the top of the cereal box and mail it in for a prize, that kind of thing. So I thought I would make one for all the backers, but we have to get 4 more in order for everybody to get this. So
nice.
So if you're out there and you like Mighty Mascots, you like the whole motif of the campaign, definitely check it out and back us. So we need 4 more backers and everybody will get one of those.
Awesome.
So that's kind of fun. I'm thinking maybe down the road, because if I do one for every campaign, I could have people actually send it in and redeem it for something else or something,
Oh, that'd be cool, man. That'd be really cool.
Kind of goes into the whole like cereal motif a little bit,
Yeah. That's interesting because I have a friend who's a toy collector, and I remember he was showing me his collection, and I was thinking in my head, I was like, well, aren't you ever like, what are you gonna do with all this stuff? And he's like, keep it. I was like, yeah, but what if one day you like, need money or something? Well, then I'll sell it. But it's interesting you mentioned that, because then they gave me the idea of like, that'd be kind of cool of like, oh, if you turn this in, you'll get a shot to like a chance to get one of my treasures, one of my little prized treasures, and ship it to you, which would be kind of cool actually.
Yeah, definitely.
You gave me an idea, Keith. I think I might take it from you.
Yeah. Well, hey, do it. I who gave me the idea was RJ Carter from Critical Lab.
Oh yeah, okay,
When I was on
his
show, he's like, you know what you got to do. He laid out the whole thing, and I was like, yeah, that's great. Good idea.
That would be great. I think I think you would probably gain a lot more followers if you did that. If you like, hey guy, if you turn this in,
he did something cool, got something. You get something
really cool, like
neat,
a random cool thing.
Yeah, and it's only available this way. Yeah, that might be fun. So I'll start thinking along those lines. It might be something really cool to do.
I think because I'm a believer that people like you and I who are in the game of indie comics, we have to be a lot more creative in terms of how to meet customer satisfaction.
Yeah,
because we are in direct competition with the big conglomerate corporations who own Marvel and DC Comics.
Oh yeah.
And even the other publishers like Image and Dark Horse who are not owned, who are self-owned, they're actually self-sustained, but we're in competition with them too. And so I think if we become a lot more creative as to what we offer backers for our crowdfunding campaigns, I think that might be the best bet in terms of competing against these bigger not corporations, but other companies who are trying to gain the attention of readers, because that's what we're doing too, right?
I agree with you. And yeah, and I think like us helping each other, doing our own YouTube channels, it just grows. Everybody grows,
Exactly.
So yeah, definitely, it's really cool.
There's plenty of pie to go around. Is what I say.
I definitely dig this community. I just wish the community of readers would get a little bigger,
Yeah, no, I think they're there. It's just that we gotta find ways to come over here, check this out too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I could be fun too.
Yeah. Put that video game down and check out this book,
Exactly.
But this cover right here, like, kind of demonstrates what I was talking about, where, it's a little bit adult. He got dead.
Oh yeah, you have the
duck mascot on the ground, and not only that, but you have the new character Grunt Calhoun, smoking a cigar, which is kind of taboo nowadays.
Ooh.
Sure but is. But once again, you think about like Spider-Man and Batman comics in the 80s. Like, I always saw Nick Fury with a cigar. I always saw Wolverine sucking down a cigar.
Didn't J. Jonah Jameson used to smoke cigars too?
Yeah,
in the comics.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's right. J. Jonah Jameson, and then also John Constantine, but that was a little later on, and that was
but that was
adult.
A whole different.
Yeah,
that's a whole different school right there.
Character smoking. That adds like just another layer to the character with subconsciously. It's a bubblegum candy cigar.
I think that you should use that instead, a cigar.
Yeah. Right. That's great.
Now I have to ask you, because this is getting I'm seeing this cover and I'm thinking, is this a homage to the Powers cover?
No, I didn't even think about that. But
it wasn't a cover. It wasn't a cover. It was.
I know what you're talking about, though. Who Killed Retro Girl?
Yes.
Yeah. It could be. Like, let me look that up real quick while we're talking.
Because that was one of my favorite comic books when I
love Powers. I still think that's one of the best things Bendis ever did.
Oh yeah, bar none. I mean that book was
turning
like
out some amazing stuff. Even when he was, for the first few years at Marvel. He was still good, but then after a while, he kind of just fizzled out. But let me see.
Yeah. I mean, his Ultimate Spider-Man run was fantastic.
Yes.
He just. I think when he went on Avengers, or when he did like big team books, I feel like it wasn't his strong suit.
Yeah.
He was more like for instance, his Daredevil run with Alex Maleev was absolutely phenomenal. Like
it's similar to, if I shared the screen, it's similar to this similar idea, but
there we go.
Very like close, but I didn't even think about that when Ian drew it, because I usually draw the thumbnails for him. I don't do anything fancy, or it's very usually barely stick figures, but I drew the dog and looking down at dead body, and then with the cops around, and he chose that really cool angle of him walking in like that.
It's a great shot. It's a great cover.
It really is.
It really does have the vibes of the old school, like especially the image in front of the logo, of the title, which I always love, and of course Alterna has the great
the corner boxes.
The corner box, which is fantastic. I don't know why they got rid of it. They should never got rid of it. It's
and I love that he's got the newsprint too. It gives you all of that.
Yes, absolutely. So tell us what Mighty Mascots is all about. Oh, what's this? Is this a storyline? Issue 7, 8, 9? Or is this like a
well? Yeah, well, let me explain the premise, and then I'll get into each individual issue. So the premise is it's a bunch of serial mascots, and they were brought to life by a 3D printing accident, and they decide to become a superhero team. And then in the very first issue, there's the overall villain of the series ends up using this 3D printing formula, with using it in a sprinkler system of a supermarket as a testing ground zero kind of thing, or patient zero thing. And the sprinkler system sprays this formula all over the store and creates, ton of these evil mascots and stuff. And and that's sort of how I set it up. It's like, all right, now they got to go get all these guys, and you'll see how it goes along the way. But there's you know, it is basically every issue and every story arc. I'm building the universe up bigger and bigger and bigger, until there's like these I want the Mighty Mascots to have as many villains as Batman or Flash or Spider-Man. Those are the three I can think of that have the best rogues gallery. So that's what I'm trying to do: build up their rogues gallery, also building up their allies and their support characters, and it's really fun. It's like building a superhero universe from the ground up, basically.
Well, that's great. That's what comic books are all about, right? Yeah. Building something from the ground up and letting it flourish, and getting a readership that appreciates and are looking forward to the next story with these characters.
Definitely.
And that's why comic books should always remain what they are, which is expansive and imaginative.
Yeah, imaginative.
Because that's what I remember when I was young, when I was in my teens. I was the only one out of my friends who read comic books, and when one of them found out that I read comic books, he asked me why. Why do you read comic books? Like, what the hell? Why not watch the movie or the TV show? And then that's when I explained to him, because there's so many good stories that movies or TV shows haven't done yet. And it's here in my box, in my long box.
Right.
I could pull it and I pulled out a few issues and I showed them to him. I was like, look at the artwork. I mean, look at this. How can you say no to this?
Yeah.
Eventually I tried to convert him, but it didn't work.
It never worked. There's some people that just don't like reading, I think
that's what it is.
A little bit.
Yeah.
You'll find the like-minded people though, I think that love comics the same and are looking for that stuff. And it's like, I think that's what's great about the comic industry too, is you can get all kinds of stories. Like you can have a silly one, you can have superheroes, you can have a real slice of life drama, you can have this, you name it. You can do a Western, you could do, you know what I mean? It's like it's endless how much stuff you could do. Horror.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I really love this cover. Movies. This is a great cover.
Isn't that a great cover? That's one of my variant covers.
Fantastic.
That is by an artist that's up here in the New England area by the name of Steve Mardo. Really, really nice guy. Is he an interior artist as well, or just a cover artist? He's done some stuff for Scout Comics, I think.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so he's done some stuff with those guys, like the Black Caravan stuff, and he's one of those guys that I think is a talent, gonna be something, or do something in the industry in a few years, This guy, Ryan Santos, he's another one. Brilliant, fine artist.
Great cover here.
Yeah, my first painted cover. I just really love what he did. And I asked him to do a cover, and I said, what were your ideas? I gave him the entire series to read, and he's like, I think you need an Alex Ross type cover. And I was like, hell yeah, nice. I love where your head's at, So, so that's what he came up with, and my jaw dropped when I saw that thing. I was like, oh my God.
That's fantastic.
And then this cover is, I went to 1 year at the Joe Kubert School, and the guy that did this cover sat next to me in my class, and we were friends for a long time. And I kind of didn't talk to him for years, until Facebook, and then I talked to him recently. I said, "Hey, you want to do a cover for me?" Because he works in advertising and doing storyboarding, so he doesn't even know what's going on in comics or anything. And so he did this cover, and I was like, "Man, you should be in comics, dude. Your stuff's great." So
no wasted space here.
No,
everyone is doing action. I mean, which is tough. It's a tough thing, from my understanding, with that to do with covers is movement or positioning, and he has it, man. He has it for
definitely. Sure. I agree, and beautiful job. So I was really happy with that. So 3 great variant covers, So
so awesome. let's go down the perks here real quick.
Yeah, sure.
Let's start at the top here. So we have this is okay, that's top. So we have your featured perk, which is the Mascots Breakfast Club member for $50, and that will get you.
That's the best.
Break it down. Break it down for us.
Yeah, no problem. That's the best bang for your buck. You get all 3 issues. You get the regular covers and the variant covers.
Oh, nice.
Everything will be signed. You also get the scroll up again. I forget one of the items. I know you get an embroidered patch. And you get the Grunt Calhoun bumper sticker that says or put crime on a leash. And you get the
nice.
you get a button that says that as well. And
nice.
I think there's one other thing. If you scroll up, I forget what the third. Oh yes, you get 3 mini prints of issues 1, 2, and 3 without the logos or the corner boxes, just the image.
Oh, nice.
So you get that, and I may do more mini prints for the next campaign as well. So you get a lot for the $50, and then also anything that gets unlocked gets added to your perks too. So, so you could potentially clean house depending on how high we go with perks and things like that. So.
Well, great deal. Because I do plan on getting my little one into comics when she gets a little older, reading it, because I really do. Yesterday, I was playing with her yesterday, and
how old is she?
She's 3 right now.
Okay.
She saw my my Echo book from Terry Moore.
Yeah.
And she grabbed it and she's like, "What's this?" And I opened it up and I showed her some of the Terry Moore artwork, and she spelled out the word Echo for me, and she said it and everything. So I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna slowly introduce her to some of the comic books, and hopefully she catches on to it, because I know it's a crapshoot, right? Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So
yeah, no,
I'm hoping she
sometimes
does.
It works, sometimes it doesn't,
right.
But yeah, all you can do is introduce it and see what happens,
Or maybe I'll just geek out in front of her and she'll get excited and it'll be...
Yeah, there you go. You usually want to get involved, once...
Yeah, like, oh, if Daddy thinks it's fun,
yeah,
I'm going to do it too.
Exactly. Until they get older and then they want nothing to do with
it.
Exactly.
Exactly. All right, next on the list is the Mighty Mascots issues, just the issues themselves, right?
Yes, if you want to get issues 7, 8, 9. It also comes with the mini prints, and I'll sign everything. And so that's a benefit of getting it from me, because these will probably be offered in the Alterna seasonal bundles at some point, but probably about a year out. So the advantage is you get them early through me, and you also get them signed by me. So
nice.
If you get it through Alterna, it's just the copy of the book, and that's it. And same with this perk, even though it's it's $15, but you can potentially get so much more with all the unlocks and everything.
Nice.
So yeah, it's gonna be great. So everything that's physical on this campaign will get any stretch goals and any backer bonuses that come up. So
great. This might be one that I might back myself. It's very doable. $15 for 3 issues, which isn't bad.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And on top of that, you're gonna get a 6x9 mini prints and signature by
signatures. Yeah.
Eric Grant's asking, looks good. Will this be going in demand?
Yeah, I plan on it, Eric. Well, I'm hoping I hit the campaign goal in the next few days. I'm very close.
You are very close.
And then I'm thinking maybe to go another 30 days. Did you do that with Vigilant Fury? Did you go 30 and 30?
Yes, I did.
Okay, yeah, I'm thinking about doing another 30 days and just maybe adding a couple other items to the campaign. And then I'll go in demand as well. So yeah, I'm pretty confident we'll hit the goal, and then I'll leave it open until the issues are finished. So I'm actually to give other people more of an update too. Is I'm actually the artwork, the pencils, inks, and colors are actually all done for issue 7.
Oh, nice.
Ian is starting issue 8 this week. So my goal is I put the deliver date for next summer, but I'm hoping to deliver way before that. So
Oh,
kind of be a bonus, you know.
That's like, yeah, that's always a great thing to do is to oversell the estimated shipping and then
Yeah,
delivering
that's what I
early.
like to
It's
do.
like the best thing ever,
So you look like a
for
hero, you
backers.
know.
Yeah, and
And
your
Eric,
reputation amongst readers will
yeah,
just
yeah.
shoot up, and they'll back your
Er-
next campaign.
yeah, exactly. Eric, thanks so much, and yeah, I hope you do back it. I think you'll enjoy it. It's a very fun superhero book, and it's all about escapist entertainment. There's no, political nonsense in it. There's not, it's just a fun, uh, cartoon from our past,
There you go. There you go.
I'm hoping that's the goal with this one day, is that somebody will see it and say, "Hey, that would make a great animated show." That's the goal. I would love that,
Oh,
So,
yeah, I mean it's ripe for it. It's
yeah, its roots are all over, old
Yeah.
school cartoons. So
absolutely.
so
The next on the list is the digital series bundle. So
yeah,
it's,
you can get all 9 issues for
nice.
$20, which is, if you're a digital reader, that might be up your alley. I didn't do digital in the last campaign, and now look, it's like 5 reclaimed. So I think that was probably something
the best thing you could have done.
doing.
Yeah, because a lot of people internationally don't want to pay those high international
Right.
prices, which is understandable. Cause
Yeah,
they are
definitely.
ridiculous.
And it opens it up for the overseas people too, which is great.
Yeah. So and also for those who are unsure, who are like,
Mhm.
oh well, I don't want to drop too much money. What if I don't like
but
it?
$20
So the digital,
and you get 9 issues. That's not
yeah,
bad at all.
and you can read them all, and and then if you think it's worth to purchase the physical copies, and you could purchase.
Yeah, you can get it
physical
out,
copies.
get it later, definitely.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
so that's fun. Those are graphic novels of my earlier work.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Hero Envy and Swamp Tail Trades. Nice.
So Hero Envy is a geek comedy that I often used to pitch it to. This was always like either good for me or bad for me. My pitch at Comic Cons was always like, "You'll like this book. It's if Big Bang Theory were actually funny," and like that's how I would pitch it to people. And it's like I would get those people that love Big Bang Theory, and I'm like, sorry. I think that show is not that good. Or I think that show perpetuates all the negative stereotypes of geeks and nerds. I don't know if you've ever watched it, but I'm not a fan.
Which one?
Big Bang Theory.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It was one of those shows where it was like, oh cool, but
didn't you find it that like the few I've watched, I was like, geez, they're just all the negative stereotypes of nerds and geeks,
and don't get me wrong, like I've met a few of those.
Yeah, definitely.
At comic book shops, and but it just, yeah, you're right. It was one of those things where it was like, yeah, not all of us are like that.
Yeah, like I always felt like when I watched it, it was made by somebody that wasn't really a geek, like thought, that was like
right.
a pedestrian, or however you say, like just an outsider, or So, but just not to give too much more attention to Big Bang Theory, but it's it's basically it's based off an old web series that me and my friends did. We actually scripted it out and starred in it, so you can still find them online if you ever want to watch them. But it was
nice.
It was like a geek comedy, and it was like I played one of the characters, and a couple of my other friends played one of the characters, and it was like the premise was each geek in the show was representative of a different corner of geekdom. So you had a guy that was the comic guy, who was really into comics. You had the sci-fi guy that was like talked kind of like Data.
Yeah.
And then you had like the horror guy, which I played, which just was like off his rocker. And then
that's pretty good.
Yeah,
I like
and then
that.
you had like the steroid guy that was muscle guy that was always into like the fights and the Hulk and all that kind of stuff. And it was like how they interacted with each other. So it was a fun show to work on.
That's cool. Yeah, that's a cool
really
premise, actually.
Yeah, it was really fun.
If Big Bang Theory was like that, I probably would have watched the show.
Yeah, right? Like, doesn't that sound fun? And we had like really deep cut jokes. Like, I mean, real geek stuff.
Nice.
Like, and yeah, it was really fun. And I when we wrapped up doing that, I wanted to keep going. So I just started writing a comic with the characters. And then I just went more crazy with it because, like we talked about earlier, you could go nuts with a comic. So
absolutely,
I came up with this premise of.
That's pretty
good. You remember Uatu the Watcher from Marvel, Uatu. So I came up with our version of it. It was YouTube the Pointer, and it was like. So instead of watching events, he would just point at them, and then So the premise was you had to find 4 of the biggest losers in the universe to go on this mission, this cosmic mission, and that's basically the premise.
Wow, that sounds
these guys
amazing.
Having to get their shit together to actually go on a mission, and it was just
I
really
like that you added.
Stuff.
I like that you added the jock character, because they are geeks in a lot of ways.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like that meme I saw a couple years ago where. It was a meme of a picture of someone making fun of the comic cosplayers.
Okay, yeah.
And then it says, "Oh, look at these, dorks and geeks," and they showed a picture side by side of a football fan dressed, painted and dressed like the Vikings. So I was like, dude, that is the same thing.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
Yeah, I know, they don't even notice. That's what's great about it,
So I love that you added the jock character, because they are nerds.
Yeah,
definitely. For sports. Yeah, so exactly. And that's fine. It's all good. It's all right.
Yeah, I love it. I love that people have their thing.
Exactly.
And
so that's great. So Hero Envy and Swamp Tail trades, and then the next one is the variant covers.
Yes, that's
nice.
So you get the 3 variant covers.
Cool.
Just that, and then I sign those, and then you get the mini prints with that as well. So that's always cool. And all then if next thing down is commission sketch cards from.
Nice.
I can do a commission, or my wife will do a commission.
Nice.
And at the top is her few that she's done. And
okay, so these 4 here are what she did.
No, the top 2 are hers, and the bottom 2 are mine.
Okay. Oh, I noticed she did a little King Cryptid here.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then I did the boxer bear and smack at the bottom.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's
these
my
are good.
artwork.
I like these. I like these 2 at the bottom here.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, that's what my artwork looks like. Kind of. It's very cartoony, and that's what the Swamp Tales book was up at the top. That was a collection of my comic strips. For a couple of years, I did a comic strip called Swamp Tales, and it was basically 3 swamp creatures and their stupid adventures, basically. So it was the typical newspaper stuff where you see 2 panels and a gag, so I just took them and I collected them into a book, and for a while that was a really popular book I was selling at conventions, and I was just stuff sitting around in my basement,
right.
So that was kind of fun. Yeah,
that's great.
And we got the
next one is
mascot.
the t-shirt. You have a t-shirt. Nice.
Yep. I have the mascot bull call t-shirt, which is great.
Badass.
People love that because it's a very throwback to the Avengers,
Oh, right.
Yeah, remember the Avengers roll call?
Yeah. Yes, I do. All right. It just hit me right now.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Nice, dude.
So that's a lot of fun.
Series catch-up bundle for $40.
So that is, you get everything. You get all 9 issues. You get in that one I also included the 100-page giant, but the 100-page giant is just a reprint of number 1, 2, and 3. But I put it in there because it also has a different cover, so I thought people might want that for the collectability, And then you also get the mini prints on that, so you can get the whole thing in print for $40, which is great.
Yeah, that is great.
And I think down the bottom, I think there's a sketch covers that me and my wife will do.
Cool. Oh,
so
wow, these are
examples
cool.
Of our work.
So the bottom ones are yours again?
Yes,
and hers
the
at the top.
Ones are hers.
Ooh, I like that bear one right there.
Yeah, isn't that
Whoa.
one great? That was one of the best ones she ever did, I think.
Woo! Look at
really
that
good.
One.
I know. Yeah. It's ready to brawl,
Yeah, heck. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and the blood in the tips of the nails.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? It's a little Wolverine kind of cover.
Yeah. Nice. For 70, so the sketch cover commission 75. That's a great price for a sketch cover.
Yeah,
commission.
I thought that was a decent price for our artwork and stuff. And we'll do pencils, inks, and full colors, and that's on a Mighty Mascots #1 too. So it's a sketch cover on a #1. So that's really, really cool. And then that's the whole breakfast. You get everything.
Oh, everything. Okay.
The T-shirt. It's basically the Breakfast Club member, but also it adds in the T-shirt and the cereal box as well.
Oh, okay.
So you get everything for $100.
Nice. And then the last one is get drawn into an issue of Mighty Mascots. Hey,
that's really
cool.
That was really popular the last campaign I did. So.
Oh, you got 3 people who actually backed this.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah. So is it gonna be like a 1-panel type of deal, or is it like in the story? Like, are you a supporting character in the story?
No, it's probably like a 1 or 2 panel kind of deal.
Oh, okay.
That's what I did the last one. I got everybody's pictures, but I had them drawn a couple times in the book. So that was kind of cool. I was able.
That is cool. That is cool. I mean, who wouldn't want to be in a comic book, right?
Yeah, I know. That's a great thing.
That's like my dream.
Yeah, right.
is to somehow be my face be in the comic book, because I used to love how Stan Lee used to do that. Well, the famous one obviously was the Fantastic Four wedding, where Stan Lee and Jack Kirby show up, but you don't see their faces.
Didn't they also draw him in as the was he also the mailman for the Fantastic Four, or no? Or am I just thinking about the movie?
It might have been the movie.
Yeah, I think it might.
But I know Alex Ross is really big on that. Like, he used to draw like his friends in the comic books, in his comic books, which is great.
Good stuff.
Yeah, great stuff. I mean, and again, it makes it feel like a community, like you're all part of this big family, which is awesome. So this is a great. That's a great perk, actually. And
I should think about doing it for your campaigns in the future.
In the future, yeah, not for Vigilant Fury. I can't imagine anyone saying, "Hey, can I be one of the killers?" You know.
Or you could. Well, you think about it in terms of any scenes that have like a crowd or something,
Yeah. There's no crowds in Vigilant Fury.
Yeah, and maybe you could stick them in a couple times. Like
maybe,
I think
maybe for the next one, there is I am going to go, all out for the next project that Gambino and I are going to be working on together.
Oh, nice!
And it's going to, because I've been grounded, in my comic book writing in terms of like the subject matter. It's all been grounded street level. But
are you thinking more cosmic or something?
Oh, not more cosmic, more like fantasy sci-fi type of deal. Superhero as well, a little bit of superhero.
That'd be interesting to see you come up with something like that.
Oh, dude, I got so many. Like, there's so many ideas and story ideas collecting digital dust in my laptop.
That's good though. That's good.
Yeah, no, it's great. I just had to find the right artist to draw these stories, because I don't want to just hire anybody. I want to hire the right people.
Gambino. That kid is awesome. Great
artist. Dude, he's gonna. I wouldn't be surprised if 5 years from now, he's like a big time name in comics.
I already hit him up for a sketch cover for me, or a variant cover.
Oh, nice!
At some point,
nice.
But I don't know when I'll do it. I want to get him to do one now.
Yeah, you won't be disappointed. You will not be disappointed.
And let me tell you, he's such a nice kid too. I met him at Plastic City when he came to the show.
Yeah, he did that. I was like, cool.
He came up and he gave me a copy of his art book, which was amazing, and I don't know if Plastic City was his first show. I can't remember if he said that or not.
I think it was.
Was it?
Yeah, I think it was.
He was so happy to do it. He got a couple commissions, and I think he did generally well, at the show.
Yeah. He told me that he did do pretty well. That he was really excited. He's hungry. He's a hungry artist. He wants to get his stuff out there. He wants his name out there. He's ready, willing to work.
And he's the type that he's good enough that he'll be turning down work soon. You know what I mean?
I hope, hopefully not me. Hopefully he won't turn me down.
That's what I said. Get that exclusive contract going right now, Julius.
He thankfully I snatched him up before that happened. So
I wouldn't be surprised if he, like I saw that he did. Did you see that Blood Realm piece he did for Robert Geronimo's book? And I was like, wow, like amazing that. And he did like I don't know, I forget. I looked at his website. He had so many great stuff on there, and it just he's gonna be a big guy.
I can't wait to show you guys what he has in store. I mean,
nice.
You only got a taste of what you saw on the campaign page, but
Can't wait.
You guys are gonna be blown away.
How
by
close
what
is he to completing the book? Is he?
Oh, he still has a
halfway?
ways to go. I think he's at page, I want to say 24.
And you said this was a bigger book, right? Like
83 pages.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So he still has a ways to go.
Yeah. But how is he as far as quickness goes? Is he a quick artist?
No, he's I don't want to say he's slow. It's just that he has a day job, so he has to focus on that. So that takes up a chunk of his time of the day. So he's if he committed full time, he probably would be a fast artist. It's just that, like I said, he has his day job.
He would. Yeah, that's cool. So he's pretty much a nights and weekend kind of guy right now.
Yeah. Actually, no, early mornings and weekends.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Huh. He's waking up at
imagine doing
5 a.m. and getting to work.
I can't even imagine doing that. I can't even. Like, how does people think in that? I guess you do what's what's
everyone's
necessary.
different. I come to learn myself that in the morning, my mind is the sharpest in the morning.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Huh.
At nighttime, I'm ready to shut down at nighttime. That my mind, I can't write at night. I've tried, and
it's
I just
tough
can't
after
do it.
working a whole job all day.
Exactly.
And stuff.
So when you wake up and you're fresh and you're ready to go, and you had a full night's of sleep too, because obviously it won't work if you go to sleep late and wake up early.
Right.
You have to go to sleep and balance out the sleep hours.
Yeah.
And you wake up,
coffee, and then just go.
Yeah.
I can see that
coffee,
working,
and just start writing, and it just comes all pouring out, which is pretty great, So
that's great too. I love that. Like, and are you the type that you get the whole outline going, and then, and then once you know where everything's going, you kind of just set the characters up in your head and just transcribe their conversations.
Absolutely, yeah. My strongest suit is dialogue.
I think mine too. Once you know the characters' voices, what kind of character they are, they kind of write themselves. So.
I copied Alan Moore's technique, which was he looks himself in the mirror and do the voices and then write it out. And I've always liked that. I was like, that's kind of cool. I'm going to do that. So that's what I do. I look in the mirror and I kind of like imagine what this character sounds like. And then I try to write it out on script form. And of course, it always helps when you have a good artist who can draw out what you describe, how the character looks. Because then when you letter the book...
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, when you letter the book, you see the character's, physical appearance on the paper. And then you could kind of adjust the dialogue a bit to match the physical description that the artist drew. But what were we going to ask though?
No, I was just saying, so the way I write a script, a comic script, and I don't know if anybody else does it this way, which is kind of like ass backwards, I guess, for comics. Like, I will just I'll do the outline like normal and know all the story beats and everything, but then I'll just start going, and I won't worry about comic panel descriptions. I won't even worry about pages per se. So I just type it out like it's a screenplay. I'll describe what's happening, and then I'll just so I can get the flow of the conversation, the dialogue between the characters. Then I go back and worry about the panel descriptions, and I actually will sit down and thumbnail it a little bit so I can see it visually. So it's almost like I'm writing the script like 3 times, and so I don't recommend it usually to people, but that's how my mind works. Is like I kind of can't have any noise when the characters are talking, and I'm trying to get the dialogue down. So I try to just move everything out of the way that would block the progress of that conversation, in my head. So that's how I kind of work, and I've run into people that do similar. But do you break it down like by panel as you go?
Yes, I do. I sometimes lay out the panels myself as well, and then I with Gambino, since he likes the scripts to be loose and kind of like almost like the Marvel way, so it's a lot easier for me to not have to lay out the panels. I could just write out the description and he'll figure it out himself. I trust him at this point to do that. Good. And with me, I usually go for about 4 drafts of the script before I actually feel like, okay, it's ready to go. It's ready to be drawn.
Yeah.
And then of course we go through the thumbnail process where he sends me thumbnails, and then of course I, based on the pacing and the beat, then I'll rearrange maybe some panels, maybe take away a panel or add a panel depending on how I want the page to flow, because I'm in the like I'm part of like the oh gosh, what's his name? Jim Shooter. Jim Shooter I think doesn't get enough credit as a contributor to the comic book industry, because
oh yeah, legend.
his blog, which is still up, you can find it at jimshooter.com. He provided so much great priceless information. It was almost like a school of sorts when he was providing all this information about how a writer should approach writing comics, which is you have to write it visually. Okay. If you write it, or if you try to approach it like a novel or a screenplay, you're doing the artist a disservice, because if you need to write the script as if you're going to draw it. Okay. So that way, when the artist gets the script, they can easily follow your script. And also
the picture in their head of what it should
exactly be. Yeah. And they'll get it as close as they can to what you picture in your head, because obviously two people are different, they interpret it differently.
Yeah.
But if you're really good at using descriptive words, then you're set. And so that's how I try to approach my script, is that okay, I gotta remember to write visually when I'm writing the comic book script, as opposed to like a novel or a short story where you have to use language or words to get the senses, the senses for the reader to feel like they're there, because you don't need that in comic books. You have the artist doing that for you. So that's how I like to approach it. And I highly recommend to those who are watching or who watch the replay, jimshooter.com, read his entries. They're fantastic. Like I say, he doesn't get enough credit for what his contribution to the comic book industry, and I hope to one day meet him. I know
I see him from time to time at different shows, but I've never gone to talk to him, and I know he's definitely a legend.
Talk to him, man.
Yeah,
do it.
I know.
Next time you see him, go out of your way to talk to him and pick his brain, because he has so much.
Check out those blogs. Those sound like it's good information.
Oh, they're great. He was really active on them, I think, about 10 years ago. So every day he would come out with a new entry, and I was always there ready. He shared this real quick before we go.
Yeah.
He shared this story about this one time he went to a San Diego Comic-Con in the 80s, and Jack Kirby was there, and Stan Lee was there.
Okay.
And they're having like this auction where these artists would draw, and they would auction it off, and he bought one of Jack Kirby's original commissions that he did for the auction. And he said, hey, we're having the party, come on by and say hello. And Kirby was like, all right, yeah, all right, cool, let's go. So they went to the after party after the con was over, and all the Marvel employees were there, and of course Jack Kirby came in, and I guess this is according to Jim Shooter, so take it with a grain of salt. Yeah. He was talking to Stan Lee, talking, and then there's a big commotion occurred, right? Okay. Because Jack Kirby entered, and of course Jack Kirby, right?
Yeah.
So all the young employees, the Marvel employees, were there. Oh, Jack! Oh, they're all freaking out like a rock star, right?
Yeah.
And supposedly, according to Jim Shooter, Stan Lee like freaked out and broke the glass that he was holding, and he cut himself.
Oh my God.
And Jack made his way in, and he said hello to Jim, and he said hello to Stan, and Jack Kirby was with his wife, and of course she's famous for being part of the community as well.
Yeah.
I forget her name. I can't remember her name off the top of my head.
I can't either.
Stan and Jack were talking, and I guess according to Jim Shooter, Stan told Jack Kirby, we should do something together again. It's been so long. It'd be great. Who cares who made it, right?
Yeah.
And I guess Jack Kirby's wife looked at him and says, "Bite your tongue," and then took Jack Kirby away from him.
Wow. Well, I've heard those stories, like them Stan and Jack, and there's always people that argue that.
Yeah.
Who was the better, creator, and who was more responsible for Marvel Universe? But I've always said it's like that's like the Beatles of comics. Yeah. Like you take them apart, even with the Beatles, when they broke apart, Paul, everybody had their solo careers, but they were never as good as when they were together.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the magic with Stan Lee and Jack Kirby is like
Absolutely.
Stan Lee had, was more of the showman and Jack Kirby was more of the quiet guy, and together they just made magic,
Oh, absolutely. I mean, to this day, Avengers, the Hulk, Thor, I mean, it's still they still live on to this day.
They're immortal. They're
immortal.
Always going to be around.
Exactly.
And, another cool thing about Jack Kirby that there's a documentary on, oddly enough, on the original, the Fantastic Four movie, the first one that came out.
Oh gosh, the Roger Corman produced one?
No, the other one, the newer one, I guess.
Okay.
Michael Chiklis and all that.
Okay,
the
gotcha.
first one. On that original DVD, one of the extras is a Jack Kirby documentary. Not a lot of people know about this. It's just random that it's on this, movie. And in the DVD, they talk about how, and this is crazy, but like Jack Kirby fans would go to his house. Like they would, they fly across country and just go to his house, and Jack Kirby and his wife would just let him come in, have lemonade, give him artwork.
Dude.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
I wish I knew that. I know. We're on the next flight,
Wait, I think I saw that documentary. Did I see that documentary?
It's on the it might be on YouTube now. So
maybe I saw it there. Maybe that's where I saw that. Because I do remember that story. That fans would fly to his house in LA, right? He would live in LA.
Yeah, isn't that nuts? Like, holy
and I know that Rob Liefeld, he shares some stories about how he used to go to his house as well. Yeah, he started in the business.
Imagine that. I mean, Kirby's one of those guys that I didn't have appreciation for when I was younger, because when I grew up when Todd McFarlane was out, and so like I couldn't see it at the time. But as I got older and I really studied what he did, and I mean, his artwork is.
He's a master, dude. He really is. He truly is a master.
Amazing. So amazing.
I actually picked up. I found a few Demon comics that he drew. Oh,
I love those, the 70s ones. Yeah.
I found issue, I think 2 and 3, and I snatched them up, and I'm gonna show this story because I think it was funny, but in hindsight maybe it wasn't as funny. But don't judge me, people. I was at a swap meet, and this person had a bunch of vintage stuff, and I was looking through it, and I saw the Demon, and I was like, is this the Jack Kirby one, or is this just a Jack Kirby cover? So I got on my phone now and I typed in Demon issue 2 or whatever, and then I saw it written and drawn by Jack Kirby, and I was like, oh crap, does this person know what they have? So
right.
I snatched up a few issues, because he had I think he had like 6 of them, and they weren't in good condition either. They were kind of worn out already, but still Jack Kirby. So I went up to the person and said, hey, how much for these? And he's like, give me. So just give me $25 for the 3, right?
Yeah.
So I try to, I was like, well, what if I give you 30 for the rest for all of them? He's like, no. Okay, fine. So I paid him, and his wife, the guy's wife, was kind of like, doing one of those like double things, and she walked up to him after I had given them the money, and then she, in Spanish, she told him, how much did you give him for? And then he told her, and I was already leaving. I was like, I'm out of here, because I ain't gonna be part of this. And as I was leaving,
run,
I could hear her say, why the hell did you sell it for that much? And I was like, I'm out of here. I'm out. I gave him my money. I'm good.
That's great. Yeah. You gotta love when people don't know what they have, I've never had that happen to me, I don't think. Yeah, I've never been in that situation.
Like, if you are selling vintage stuff, you gotta know what you have.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
The guy didn't know, and I hate to say it, but ignorance, you can't claim ignorance. You gotta know what you have.
Well, then you also get those people that just want it out of their house, so they don't even care what they're selling it for. So you get that too. But definitely.
Yeah, they're gems. They're in my collection now, and I'm happy to own an actual Jack Kirby comic book. In my hands, and not a reprint, an actual original. Even though it's all worn out, I don't care. Yeah. It's great to have it, and I highly recommend, if you're a serious student of the game, if you are serious about making comics, you have to study Jack Kirby. because he truly is the master of comic book storytelling. He set the standard when it comes to telling
some of the
fantastic stories. Yeah. And you have your Jerry, the creators of Superman. Their creation is what made the industry, but Jack Kirby and Stan Lee were the ones who kept it going with creating the Marvel universe. And so definitely. You got to give credit where credit is due. And the one legend that I would love to meet one day, and I'm jealous that Rini Draws got to meet him, is Jim Steranko. That's the man I would love to meet one day.
You're going to kill me. I see Jim Steranko all the time.
Oh, God. Tell me you talked to him at least. Tell me you
I did. I've talked to him a couple times. But
all right.
He is usually, I don't know, maybe he's got family around here, but he's always at New England shows. Always.
He might. Yeah, I know he's East Coast. I know he's a New Yorker.
He's got he's going to get the best hair. He looks like, I don't know if you watch... have you ever seen that show Righteous Gemstones on HBO Max?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it though.
If you ever watch it, he looks exactly like Walt Goggins' character in that.
Oh, okay. I mean, he's always well dressed, and he's just larger than life dude.
He looks like he's going to a wedding every time you see him. It's awesome,
it's that generation. It's that old generation that always.
I will tell you this: he's one of those guys that legit loves his fans. He's always talking and. Talking up a storm with people whenever I see him there. So he's definitely one of those heroes you wouldn't have to worry about meeting, Oh,
great. Because I would love to pick his brain and talk to him and, find out learn so much from the great, Jim Steranko. And I love his Twitter account. His Twitter is great.
I have seen some tweets. I don't follow it religiously,
he's great.
But I've seen some stuff. I know Don Chin loves him a lot too. So I usually see the retweets from him,
Yeah, he's great, and I know he tweets like sporadically, but I think on the weekends is when he does it the most.
Yeah,
and I think he has a show. I don't know if he has. He always talks about like a show, but I never could find it, so I don't know what he's talking about when I see those tweets.
No, I don't know.
Maybe he's just like live on Twitter on Sundays or something. And he just tweets.
Possibly. He's talking about like a radio show that he does or something.
No, I don't know. He always mentions like. Tonight I'll be talking. I just don't. There's no link on his Twitter bio or anything that.
So it's just like random.
Hey, what's up, Ben?
Hey, Benjamin Soto. How's it going? I think I'm going to be on Ben's show. In a couple weeks, I think.
He has a great YouTube show. He's always talking about writing. So I think it's called. Remind me, Ben, what your show is called. But yeah, that's. I think we've pretty much covered it all. Covered all your campaign, your history as a writer, your idea, where you got your ideas from for Mighty Mascots. Guys, if you have not backed Mighty Mascots, back it today. I mean, we want to talk. You want to talk about all age comics. This could be a great gateway for your child if you want to get your kid into comics, and it's not as dark as most books out there. My book is dark. Kids should not read Vigilant Fury. Just let you know right off the bat. Okay, you got to be maybe 16 and above to read Vigilant Fury. You'll be all right. But anything below 16, no. Just wait until you're 16 and then maybe you could read Vigilant Fury. I even am thinking about doing a comic book for kids because it's a challenge. Yeah. And, as a writer, thank you, Ben. Word Slingers. That's the name of the show. Right, check out Benjamin Soto on YouTube. He has his own show. Subscribe to his channel. He has a great show where he talks to other writers and he picks your brain. He asks you questions. So check it out, guys.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna be. I don't remember when, but I know it's on my calendar that I'll be doing his show at some point. I think it's a Saturday or something.
Yeah, I think he does it on the weekends. But yeah, like I was saying, I'm thinking about doing my own kids comic because, like I said, I like to challenge myself as a writer and go outside my comfort zone. And so maybe down the line, but if you guys are looking for something like that, Mighty Mascots is your gateway to comics. If you're a young preteen or a kid, you'll definitely enjoy this book. Check it out. Tell your parents about it so they could take a look at it and maybe determine it's suitable for you or not. If you're watching this, because I know some kids. Well, yeah, I think some kids should be watching this because we didn't really curse a lot, did we?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Might have dropped a few.
But you're at 4600 Let me refresh to see maybe you got some. Oh, you got some backers.
Look at that. 2 away. Oh my God, I'm 2
away.
Dude,
Whoa.
2 away from hitting 100.
100 backers.
Well, yeah, that's great. Oh, we're getting there. That's that's awesome.
Benjamin, is your kid's comic going to be called Vigilant Fury? Maybe.
That's great.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe if what's her name? Piper. Maybe she writes it. I'll probably call it that.
That's great.
All love to Piper, by the way. No, I'm not talking crap. But yeah, great. Awesome. You got a few backers.
There, man. Getting there.
8 days left. There. You're getting there. Hopefully you will get there. I'm pretty sure you've gone this far. You're 8 days late. And this is the first 30 days or the second 30 days?
First 30 days. So
first 30 days. Oh, dude, you're set.
I think I'm set. Yeah, definitely. I always never count it until it's actually done, you know.
Right.
Then I lean back and relax. Like we had one of the guests on Indie Comics Relay. I imagine you do this too? Like it just cracked me up. He was saying that like whenever he's running a campaign, he's got all the campaign stats up, and it's like he's like looking at the NASDAQ, you know, for like
yeah.
Yep. I was like, yeah, if that wasn't an accurate description of running a campaign, I don't know what is, you know.
Absolutely. It ain't no joke running a campaign, guys. Let me tell you.
No,
it's tough work. It's tough. There's a reason why it's called a campaign, right? It's the reason why they call it a political campaign. It's because you constantly have to sell yourself and sell the product that you want. Sell yourself,
but also try to figure out what people might want, you know,
right.
And like, what your goal's gonna be, all this stuff. It's like crazy, you know, how much you put into it, you know. So,
and the reason why it's such a great thing too is because it showcases how much we love doing this.
Right.
We love it so much that we're willing to put ourselves out there. Because, you know, in the beginning, when I first started doing this, I was petrified to be in front of a camera and talk live.
Were you really?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah, you're a natural, man.
Well, thank you. That was practice.
No kidding.
It was practice. It was standing in front of a mirror.
I'm an introvert too by nature, and like,
same here.
You know what happened is it was what got me out of my shell is I had to do a best man speech for my brother's wedding and stand up and talk in front of
goodness gracious
100 or more people. And that was what kind of did it for me. And then I started doing a little bit of stand up for a while. I did stand up comedy for a couple of years.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it kind of just got me out of that shell. Like, so now I can kind of do it. Once you stand on that stage alone in front of an audience, everything else is easy.
Especially when they don't laugh
at
your jokes.
Oh my God. I've had a couple nights like that, and it was bad. You sit there and you start feeling the sweat coming down your forehead, and you're like, oh my God, what am I just feel like a chump up there. But then the other nights I'd go up there and this is going to suck and everyone's laughing. So you never know.
You just never know. Exactly. And that goes back to what you said just a second ago, which is you got to know where your audience is at. And once you find your audience, you steer towards that direction. You go towards that way. So,
but kudos to you to breaking out of the shell and being able to get in front of the camera.
It was tough. It really was tough. But now I'm more accustomed to it. You know, I have 2 campaigns under my belt. Yep. I fulfilled 1 campaigin, and now it's become a lot more easier.
Yeah.
And now that I know you, I mean, I've been on your channel, and we've had a back and forth, and we know each other a little bit more. So it becomes easier when you know the person more.
There's certain guests that have come on Indie Comics Relay, you being one of them, and then other ones that me and Johnny just get along with really well. Like, you know, and then there's other ones that come on the show and it's just like pulling teeth trying to get them to talk. So it's, but yeah, we never have that problem with you. Actually, I don't know if you saw her today. I dropped, I do this segment on the channel called ICR Bits. And it's basically, I just take like a chunk of any live stream that we do, you know, if there's a good section where we talk about something.
Oh, okay.
And so I dropped a bit today from the episode you were on with Jared a couple weeks ago when we were talking about the death of DC Comics. So I did a whole chunk of that. So that just went up today.
I'll definitely have to check that out then.
Yeah, it's pretty good actually. It's pretty good.
That was a good portion of talk when we dove into that.
The whole bit's like 12 minutes or something.
Yeah, no, that was a great,
very
bit
entertaining.
Of,
like
there.
when I was listening back to it, I was like, yeah, this keeps you engaged, you know. Plus, I put that clickbaity title on it.
Of course,
Death of DC Comics. You know, but I gotta play that
just
game
for the record, guys.
Bit.
Just for the record, we don't want DC Comics to die, so don't get mad at us.
Right.
It's just it's just a title.
We're actually very positive in there.
Yeah,
about,
we want DC Comics to survive. I mean, I was a DC guy growing up, so I still rate Marvel comic books.
I love both. But it's
DC
just,
was my choice because of Superman. Superman's my favorite superhero.
Is he really? Oh, cool.
Oh yeah. He's my number one forever. So DC will always hold a special place in my heart, and I don't want it to go away. I hope the new CEO who's taken over Warner Brothers and DC Comics, I hope he doesn't do away with the comics. I hope he really.
Yeah,
I hope someone
really
within his circle.
Right now. Yeah,
what's his name? What's not Zelensky?
It's I'm blanking on the dude's name, but yeah, he's in all the major news right now.
Yeah. So okay.
Yeah, I forget. I'm
gonna do a serious note here.
Okay.
Mr. CEO of Discovery. If anyone out there is watching this or watches the replay and sees this clip, please cut out this clip for me and send it to the CEO of Discovery. Whatever your name is. I forget your name. Don't get insulted. I just don't care. I just want to hear you. I just want you to hear my pleading, okay? Do not cut DC Comics. Do not cancel DC Comics. Keep DC Comics. It is an IP farm for you. Yes. If you just hire the right people to run the comic book wing, I guarantee you, the comic book sales will just shoot up if you just can get the right people to steer the ship, and hire the right people to do it. There's great artists out there in the indie world, great writers out there, who are hungry. Who have new stories, new perspectives on these characters that could probably make you a lot of money down the line if you decide to, I don't know, adapt one of them into a movie or a TV show.
Yeah.
So just don't cut DC Comics. Let them live, because without DC Comics, you wouldn't have any of the TV or movies that you have now.
Right.
So that's all I wanted to say about that.
And Ben said the name in the chat. It's David Zaslav.
David Zaslav. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Soto.
God Butcher. I love it. Yeah, if that ain't the truth, huh?
Yeah.
Oh my
God. Mr. Zaslav, keep DC Comics intact. Trust me, you have a treasure trove of stuff.
Put the right people in there, and it won't be a losing game for you anymore,
exactly. And the same thing goes for Marvel. Hopefully Disney doesn't cut more on Marvel Comics. They hopefully keep it intact, because there's still so many stories to tell with these characters. And a new generation of writers and artists that come in can definitely give a great interpretation of these characters. That and again, like I was telling earlier, we talked about earlier, there's plenty of pie to go around.
Yeah.
So let's not ruin a good thing here.
Right.
Let's keep comic books alive, because it's a great medium to tell great stories in. And if we are serious students of the game, then we should keep it alive for everybody, for the future. So,
well, even if DC and Marvel do go away, I think the indie guys are just going to pick up the slack.
Oh yeah, it's already happening. It's already happening.
Definitely.
If you see, for instance, you raised 5,000.
Yeah, isn't it
crazy? For your comic book. That shows that there's people hungry for comic books still.
Yeah,
and your characters are relatively new. They're not these characters that have been around for 50 years. They've only been around for a few years. So
it's people taking a chance on something different.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very appreciative of that. Anyone that gave
that's the one thing. That's the one thing that everyone who backs us should understand, and hopefully you will understand, is that we do care about providing you guys entertainment with our stories. Definitely. We want to entertain you. That's why we're doing this. Not only do we want to entertain you, we want to tell a good story, and we love the medium. That's why we pursued this career. It's a tough career to make it in, And there are a lot of times you don't make it because
you gotta love it. Like
you gotta love it. Exactly.
It's gotta be you gotta love it, and then and sometimes treat it like a hobby, but like also like you can't. Well, you can't like think you're gonna make a comic book and then sell get your Netflix show.
Right.
So you got to be in this for comics. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And if that does happen, then that's a great bonus. But like I'd be happy to do mascots. For the rest of my life, and if it never got made into anything else, I'd be fine with that,
Yeah.
But I would love a cartoon. I think it would work as a cartoon big time, So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where things head, I guess,
Yeah, you just gotta keep on going, keep on producing, trucking. Keep on writing, and just keep your head down and just write, and the 98 backers that you gained, they'll eventually will balloon. They will balloon with time because they obviously they're enjoying what you're already putting out, and they want to see more of it. So that's indicative of just how much love and care goes into a product, because it shows. Readers can see it, they can sense it, and if they pick up your book and they sense that you just gave a half-assed story, then they're not going to pick up your next book.
Right.
So that's just the nature of the game.
You gotta go balls to the wall,
So with that said, before we go, Keith, where can the people find you?
Okay. Yeah. So the best place, probably Twitter, as it's where I'm most active. My handle on there is @RecklessGleason, or just search Mighty Mascots.
Description below. I put it in the description below.
Awesome. And I'd say probably the second place would probably be YouTube on the Indie Comics Relay channel. And then also I have my websites I mentioned earlier, HeroEnvy.com and PlasticCityComicCon.com. And those also have all my social media links. I'm everywhere. I'm on everything but like TikTok. I'm on like Instagram. I'm in Facebook, all that stuff. So
TikTok just seems like a whole bunch of work that I don't want to do.
I just don't want to go down there. I just don't want to go down that hole. YouTube's enough.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So I don't want to be like one day having to dance to in front of my camera. My camera.
Oh gosh. Oh god.
Can you imagine? Oh my lord.
You know what you can do, or what maybe now that I think about it, maybe what we can do is, how those TikTokers, they talk and they have like the image behind them. Yeah. Maybe it could be about like a great moment in comic book history.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe
issue whatever from the Wolverine run, whatever the case.
I just don't know if TikTok would because it seems to be just an app for people to just go through videos, like with
tons and tons of videos.
I just don't know how it would, and that's the reason I haven't gotten into it. I just don't know how it would benefit you to sell them something. You know what I mean? Like, how do you put a link into that? Or
right.
I don't know.
That's true.
I don't know.
You're right.
Like,
that's a good point.
I think by the time they might consider going to look at your website, they're on like 4 videos later. So I don't know. Absolutely. It just doesn't seem like it's a good. Plus, all that conspiracy stuff I've heard about TikTok. I don't know. I don't know if it's something I want to get into.
Yeah, it's just too much drama
I saw
around
something,
it.
And I don't know how true this is, but I saw something on Twitter saying that it's got some kind of capability in its programming to pull what your keystrokes are on your computer. Like, so it can tell, and I'm like, that's a little worrisome.
Yeah, never mind.
I don't know if that's true or not. I don't want to be spreading any rumors, but I saw something on.
Everything's all alleged, by the way.
Right, alleged. Yeah. So, but who knows? Maybe all these programs do that anyway. So and we're all giving it to them for free. So
yeah, seriously.
I know, so stupid, but. I wouldn't be on any of this stuff if I didn't have to, if I didn't have a business or comic,
you're right. But unfortunately, this is the nature of the beast.
It is. It's you got to be able to do this if you want to be making comics. Yep. So I don't know.
No, with that said,
double-edged sword.
Double-edged sword, exactly. Yeah. You can find me at Lucid Comic down there on Twitter. You can subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a comment and hit the like button and hit the notification bell. For more interviews down the line, which I will have more of. With that said, guys, you guys have a great weekend. Stay safe out there. and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Bye, everyone.